what do you think now with where they're at with Vrana? I think he's coming back he should be back in the next month or two, I believe. I believe his
February.
injury
Yep.
put him coming back February. That's what I thought. Yep. With him coming back and all those things considered, what is the rest of the season outlook this year? And then when do you see their playoff window really opening in terms of them, making the playoffs and, being competitive in the playoffs?
So I'll start with this year first, the outlook this year. So currently, they are in a playoff spot technically due to points. They're a bit behind in terms of winning percentage. Boston. If I'm being honest,
Yep.
this year I don't think they make the playoffs. They have to compete with Boston and Pittsburgh essentially for those two wild card spots in the East, and I just don't think they're as good as either of those teams. They're not as veteran, I should say. Those, I mean, when you have guys like Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci, and Brad Marchand atop a line, it's hard to pick against that. And then in Pittsburgh, you have Crosby, you have some crazy pieces still. So I don't think they get there this year. But man, in terms of playoff windows, I could see him making it next year. You mentioned
Yep.
Simone Edvinson, and he has been one of the most impressive prospects so far. When he was drafted, I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed because I got really into the draft this year, and I saw him as kind of a raw prospect who could, who's going to take a few years to bake, and he's proven me wrong. He is scoring, I believe, half a point per game last time I checked in the in the SHL, the
Yeah.
Swedish Hockey League. He's been excellent. He's improving his offensive
Yeah.
game. He's improving his defensive game. Once he slots in, if he makes a push for the roster like Seider did last year, and he does that next year, this team is a playoff team.
Yeah.
Seider, if he
Absolutely.
continues to grow, Raymond, I think next year might be a bit optimistic, but based on how this is trending, I think it opens up next year.
And then you also got to think, what moves does Yzerman make to acquire? I don't think he won't open up the purse and blow it. He won't, get a bloated contract for no guy. I mean, that's especially when that's what really held the Wings down for so long, was signing a bunch of veteran guys to kind of keep it was taping the car back together while it was running 70 miles an hour down the freeway. But if there's a guy Yzerman wants in free agency to help them, it's that last piece of the puzzle to make the push. I mean, he'll do it. I mean, it's funny. It's like you said, with Edvinson, you said you were kind of disappointed with it because you thought maybe you want someone else. I've just learned to say, well, Stevie picked it, so he must know something I
The
don't.
Yzer plan.
And every single time, because people said it about Mo, and then he turned into the number one prospect from that draft class. And Raymond, like you said, was, sometimes it is just that easy. It's close your eyes and take the best guy there. And Edvinson, it's the same thing where it's like these guys just keep turning into the best players in hockey in terms of, raw prospect and where they're ranked. It's
Well,
yeah, I do
he's been
think it's
excellent
exciting.
even in he's just been excellent even in like those later rounds. Elmer Soderblom, a
Yep.
guy he was picked late, I think like sixth round. He's excellent this year. Now, do I think he's necessarily good NHL prospect yet? No, but he's proving me wrong. William Wallander has had some excellent seasons. He's last season especially. I'm really excited about a couple of the guys they snagged this year. Shai Buium over at University of Denver, Carter Mazur. Some of these, like you were saying, they don't necessarily slot into the top lines, and they're not going to be game breaking talents, but they're just going to make this team so well rounded in just a few years.
Yep.
I'm just really
Exactly.
excited about the future of this team and what he's building.
And it's important to have guys in Grand Rapids. Injuries happen. It's next man up. I mean, you hear that in football a lot, but it can apply to any sport, especially in hockey. You need a good taxi team, really, because you never know when a guy goes down. So if you can hit on some, even if, like you said, they're not game breaking prospects, but they can come and fill a role when needed. I mean, there's a lot of value in that. All right, I got two things to kind of round this out with, because the two Red Wings. I think I have the two biggest question marks on. One I'm more optimistic on, and one I'm more on currently. The one I'm more meh on is Rasmussen.